basically the subway train. I was tired after a day of teaching, and poof, there on the subway, kind of this sidewalk area, I saw this being that had this wings wrapped around it, and it had all this multiple eyes and things like that. It obviously wasn't, just like the homeless guy that was right next to it, and so that was totally on the natch, But the psychedelics, I think, have influenced or bent my sensibility so that it's sort of cracked open the doors of perception or cleansed the lens so that the membrane between the visionary realm and the physical realm are a little, that line is less hard. Now it's a little more permeable. And so numerous paintings were influenced by specific vision states that were accessed in entheogenic voyages, and numerous paintings came out of just a grace, just a vision that got plopped into my consciousness. So I think there's a strong relationship between art and shamanism. The shaman's job is to journey inward and to access sort of the lower worlds and the middle realms and the upper worlds in this visionary dimensions of reality. They're going there for the sake of healing. Once they've become shamans, they're not just shamans in training, but when they're working for the good of the healing of their community or particular people who have some kind of soul illness or other kind of ailment, in this way, maybe it's stretching it to say that the artists in general are oriented toward the same kind of shamanic quest. So I would say that, at least for a number of artists, the shamanic model of the one that journeys inward and then brings out certain truths that may provide some kind of healing or meaningful understanding for the community. This is a sort of a model of a kind of sacred function that a number of artists can relate to. And those in performance art and other kinds of works where they're looking specifically into the visionary realms and bringing out the numerous kind of visionary art type painters and things like that would feel very comfortable in having adopted the model of the shaman, I guess, as a archetype for how to view what they're doing. If they're trying to get out of the box of contemporary artist, one that is making art to fit in with the trajectory of art history as it's been explained in the university and in the art school. Most art schools don't go into Shamanism 101 or something like that. You've got to, or art schools, they just don't deal with this, how to access your unconscious and bring it forward. Now, meanwhile, they're probably home getting high, and learning it for themselves, but they don't have the context, they don't have the cultural context in which to view what they're doing as some kind of sacred quest. And numerous tribal or entheogenically based cultures they've got a way for people to, get into the job of becoming a shaman. And so it's why I stop short of calling artists shamans, because I have a great respect for the shamanic profession. It just can't be thrown around willy-nilly. It's a very difficult and arduous kind of thing. It's like a real yogi going into the cave and meditating for a long time and suffering their privations and encountering their demons and all the rest of this. It can bring people close to physical death, in some of these arduous vision quests that they need to go on and stuff. So, the Western art student who, gets out and paints pictures and things like that and calls himself a shaman, I just, that it doesn't ring right. But if they are accessing the visionary realm and they're journeying and are intending at least to bring benefit to their community through their visions and things like that, I'd say that there's a strong relationship between the profession of the shaman and the profession of the artist. Now, there's numerous events, like we've spoken of, rock shows and things like that. There's definitely different kinds of events that are more tribal than others. And we can look at the Burning Man festivals and at the rave and trance party kind of situations where people will go. They'll probably be in an altered state of consciousness, and their reality is modeled by and influenced by either the music, the artwork, the various kinds of things that have been provided in those environments. And so they're making environments to journey in for fellow journeyers. And so in situations like that, and also in the sort of the fever pitch of certain rock concerts, the ecstatic function and the psychopomp kind of function of the shaman for their culture, that is to bring forth a sacred understanding of reality, in the fever of the crescendos of Jimi Hendrix or of Tool or of various kinds of amazing rock and roll performers, they elicit this intangible, mysterious, sacred reality. And in the same way that perhaps dances around a fire or the taking of mushrooms that was lorded over by the curanderos or the different kind of shaman who would administer ayahuasca to their group and things like that, that they are helping to control an altered state of reality by singing their Icaros, their songs of the soul that will keep people centered toward their healing reality and toward their love of life and healing and things like that. And so there is a relationship between what's going on in these sort of tribal cultures that are shamanically based in their understanding of sacred reality and the new kind of tribalism that has come forward in the raves or the rock shows or Burning Man and various performance artist kinds of works and things like that.